today's meal is Carnitas, Mexican pulled pork tacos. You're joining me sort of halfway through the cooking process simply because it's already been on the slow cooker for 8 hours. I'm just going to show you now exactly what I did and what's in the slow cooker. So like I say, you're joining me at stage 2. I've just added some onions and some garlic to my dish. But this morning, 8 hours ago, I started off with a piece of pulled pork shoulder. I've rubbed that with some oregano, some black pepper, some cumin and some salt, and I've drizzled a little bit of olive oil over it. I've added some jalapenos to the top and then sliced 3 oranges in there. So where you're joining me then, I've just added the onions and the garlic. I'm going to switch my heat up to high. It's had 8 hours already, it's going to have another 2 hours cooking with them. So basically it's a really simple dish, it just requires 2 different stages of cooking. The first stage is what's going on behind me in the slow cooker, where we've got the actual shoulder of pork in there with the marinade, the rub. So the second stage is what we're going to start in 2 hours when the onion and the garlic finishes cooking down in there. So what we'll use is 2 forks. We'll break down that pork so it'll just be really nice, it'll fall apart as you would expect pulled pork to. And then in a pan, we're just going to lightly fry that pulled pork in the pan with some of the juices out of our slow cooker. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make some healthy versions of tacos. So we're not going to fry them, we're going to oven bake them. They taste just as nice and they're just as crispy, they're really simple to make. We're going to stuff our tacos with our pulled pork. We're going to get some condiments to go there as well, so some sour cream, we've got some salsa, some onions in there as well, pickled cabbage as well. You can literally add anything you like to them, some grated cheese, whatever you fancy. So that pork's been cooking for about 10 hours now. So I'm going to take it out, use a knife and fork and pull it. Be left with something that looks like this. This is all my pork meat shredded down. I'm just going to set that to a side for the moment. It's a little trick I use. I'm going to take one of the trays out of the oven, one of these griddle trays. I'm just going to fold my tortillas through the centre. Quite simply what you can see I'm doing here, I'm taking my tortilla and I'm just folding it over the shells like that. This way, when you bake it in the oven, there's no fat getting on there and you still get the same results, they're nice and crispy. So I'm just going to pop them into my oven. They don't need long, just a couple of minutes. While they're in there, this bit's very important for the carnitas. I'm going to take our pan and just heat a very small amount of oil. So now the oil's nice and hot, I'm going to take some of the juices from our pork from earlier, 3 or 4 spoonfuls, and then I'm just going to start to slowly add some of our pulled pork that was shredded down. So once you've got that pork on there, just leave it, give it a couple of minutes in there, it'll crisp up nicely. Get a bowl, set it to a side, and then when it's finished you just want to keep adding your pork to that bowl, keep frying off the rest of it. So we're going to look for some nice crispy pork. You don't want it to be black, you don't want it to be burnt, just crispy on one side, that'll do. While our pork's cooking away there in the pan, the second stage of the carnitas, just going to get our accompaniments ready. You can pretty much have whatever you want. I always think that sour cream goes great. Got some pickled cabbage. Grated cheese there. Keep checking your pork. Give it a little bit of a toss in the pan. Just see some bits are starting to brown off and crisp up nicely. Doesn't take long. Little trick for your sliced red onion. Get a lemon or lime. Just squeeze a bit of that lemon juice onto there. Okay, so the last of the pork is just finishing off in here. And it's ready to start plating up pretty much.